Hi, my name is Dr. Pettis. I'm an educator, a teacher of possibilities, and a social scientist who studies ways to create more meaningful lives for myself and for those with whom I work. Welcome to my classroom. Today, I want to talk about disorienting dilemmas and transformative learning. So let's get started. To fully understand transformative learning, we need to think about Paulo Freire's work on conscientization. Conscientization is the point at which someone becomes conscious enough to understand that they have to bring about change in their way of being if they want to change the circumstance of their living. So it is the process of that moment when we become conscious enough to understand that we have to make a change. Jack Mezirow in the 1970s was interested in adult learning, and he took up the mantle of coming up with the process for how people transform, moving from conscientization to actual transformation. He wanted to understand that process that people go through, and he found it and came up with transformative learning as we know it today. The purpose that a disorienting dilemma serves is to become the trigger point. It forces us to really question what's going on as we experience the feelings of the cognitive dissonance. So it becomes the first step that we have to pass through, and we have to make a decision as to whether or not we are going to challenge the discomfort or run from it. If we run from it, what we find over time is that those same feelings will continue to emerge until we stop and address them to try to understand why we feel the way that we do about that particular item. As we begin to explore the feelings that we have around the disorienting dilemma, it could cause feelings of guilt or shame or even anger. But it's something that we have to continue to lean into so that we can try to get to the bottom of what those feelings really represent. As we go through our critical self-assessment, we may find that we start questioning our beliefs about our spirituality or about many of the things that we learn culturally that now we're questioning because we have new experiences or ideas that we're questioning and trying to make sense of in that moment. The deeper we go into thinking about our belief systems and the new information that we're wrestling with, we realize that others have gone through similar processes and found a way to navigate their thinking and moving on from whatever is going on. It gives us a source of strength to recognize that we're not the only ones going through such a journey. As we realize others have gone through the journey, we begin to settle into our own journey and begin to look at identifying and considering the options that we may have in front of us if we want to bring about the kind of change that we're thinking about. Once we're clear about the options that we have, we can begin to plan a course of action. We can set the compass in the direction that we want to move in, and we can put a plan together in order to strategize how we're going to go about what we're doing. What are the steps that we have to actually take in order to get from where we are to where we want to go? Once we've identified our direction and we know what we have to do to get there, the next thing is to go out and acquire the skills so that we can be successful as we go through our journey. As we move towards a new way of being, we may find that various roles are not ones that we like, and that's okay because we've tried them and now we know that's not what we want to do. But there's also a likelihood that we're going to find new roles that we may not even know existed when we started. And we can begin to move into those roles after trying them out for a little bit, knowing that that's really what we want. Each time we take on new roles, we have to develop those competencies and skills so that we can get really good at that particular function, making it possible for us to advance again as we go through our careers. And finally, as we get to the end of the process, we have fully integrated a new way of being. And it's important to remember that life is a process of transformation. It is a process of always becoming the next version of whoever we are going to become. But knowing about transformative learning puts you in control of the process. And once you've done it, you understand it, you know it the next time that you encounter a situation that requires transformation, as you encounter new disorienting dilemmas as you get older.